Hi! This is a very late newsletter for my time on outreach in the Kimberley. Wanted to do a bit of a video because it's way more interactive and there's some cool footage and stuff I want to show you. So after we got back from Papua New Guinea and Mongolia, me and the rest of the DTS, we drove up to Broome from Perth, so spent 4 days doing that. It's a long way, and we partnered with the YWAM Broome base and we spent a week up there helping them settle into their new house, doing event, doing like a breakfast club at a local school, and also packing and getting ready to head out into the community and into the Kimberley again. Me and my team, I was leading a team with my friend Maddie.
Hi! Welcome back to just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. We're gonna go to the show and to Woolies and see what they have on sale. Yoo-hoo. So you should come with us.
We went up to Derby. There was 7 students, and when we were in Derby, we were bunking into like the kids' church room of a local church. And it was really tight, but it was just what we needed to bond as a team, and it was actually perfect. When we were in Derby, a whole bunch of our ministry looked like having the opportunity to go into local Aboriginal communities and run after-school programs for the kids. This included things like sports, Bible stories, praying for them, drawing like Bible stories and stuff on the ground with chalk on the basketball courts. We also helped the pastors of the church clean, do some gardening and just maintenance stuff around the block that just needed doing, but they just didn't have the hands to do it. We attended the local church prayer nights, youth groups, services on Sundays, and we're just part of the community up there. 2 of the students on my team got to be a part of a local radio station, and it wasn't a Christian radio station, but they were able to share their testimonies, why they were in Derby, and just, what God's done in their life. We went to a few nights to the youth centre in Derby, and they opened up the basketball courts and just have like time where you can play basketball with other kids, and so we were able to just go and play with them and have chats about Jesus to a bunch of the kids and the youth there. Honestly, sports ministry is one of my favourite because you get to connect with them in a really natural way and bonding over something that you both enjoy. It creates vulnerability and space to then speak into their lives. We prayer walked a lot of Derby in the streets and just declaring the name of Jesus and breaking off baggage and chains that are there in the town, and even the spiritual warfare that's pretty heavy up there. We spent hours prayer walking those streets, and we did a lot of evangelism in Derby. I just want to share one story of a time that me and Killy, one of the students, were out doing event, and we just felt before we started to just go, we just prayed and we asked, Lord, where do you want us to go in this time? And we really felt him say, go to the park opposite Woolies, and we just went over there and we sat with the mob. There was only one mob sitting there, and so we went and we sat with them and we just chatted for like half an hour, just about everything about life, job, family, friends, and was able to pray for them, and they were just encouraged. And as we got up to leave, a girl from across the other side of the group, she looked over to me and she goes, hey, can you come over and sit with me? I want to share something with you. And I was like, of course. And I hadn't talked to her at this point, so I went over, sat with her, and she just really opened up and she was like, hey, this is hard for me to share with my family, so I want to tell you. And she just opened up about how she's trying to turn around her life and give it to the Lord, but time and time again her family and community just aren't supportive of her in that, and so it's really hard for her to continue on. And she was telling me how one of the ways she connects with God is by going on really long walks and just praying. And she said every time she does that, she ends up on her knees just crying, and she said every single time she feels the Lord pick her up, tell her it's okay and that she can keep going. And that really encouraged me personally, and I was just able to encourage her. And I asked her if I could pray for her, and I asked her what her name was, and she looks at me and she goes, my name's Zoe. And I was like, hang on a second, my name's Zoe too. And honestly, that just I was really crying. I was like, what is happening? This chick, she was like, I don't know, 23 or something. And so I was just able to pray into that space of what Zoe means life, that she's going to be a life and a light to her community. And I was able to catch up with her at another point during the week as well. I got her number and able to hook her up into the local church. And I really do believe that she is going to be a life to people around her, that her family will support her. And that was just one story out of many of times in evangelism that we had in Derby. We went from Derby and we drove to Luma, which is an Indigenous community also in the Kimberley. And while most of our ministry was in Luma, we were staying in Kimberley, which was about 10 minutes out of Luma. We had an off day in Kimberley, and of course the one off day that we had, it poured with rain, so we couldn't really do anything, so that was interesting. My favourite part of being Luma community was being part of working at the school. I was there pretty much every day. We were in Luma and just being a teacher's aide and helping, being extra set of hands where that was needed, and it really just built this connection with the kids and with the teachers as well. It's an amazing school. I would love to go back at some point. When we were in Derby, we got given these bracelets, and they were like gospel bracelets, so they had 5 different colours, and each different colour represented a different part of the gospel. and we often got asked by the kids like what our bracelets meant. And because it was school, we couldn't share Jesus with them in school grounds, but we said like, meet us at the shop after school and we'll tell you about our bracelet. One story specifically about, there was about 7 kids that ended up, and one of the girls on my team just got to share the gospel with these kids, and they were just really interested and wanted to know more because of this bracelet that we were given. We were able to write letters to all the teachers at the school and just encourage them before they left, because they sacrifice so much living out so rurally, and often it's only for a few years, but they really do make a difference in the community and for these kids. We spent some time worshipping outside the little store in Luma and just like, again, declaring the name of Jesus over the Luma and the brokenness that's there, even though it's considered a Christian community. My friend Sophia, who was on my team, we got to go to a basketball court in Luma, and we told the kids at the school that day we'd be there, and so they all pulled up. There was like maybe 30 of them or something that came. She just shared the story in the Bible of Jesus washing their feet and how he cares for them so deeply, and they were really touched by that. I think she also then got down and washed people's feet, and the significance of that and that physical action that she took in showing them that Jesus would get low for them. Jesus would get low and wash their feet, and he loves them so deeply that he would do that no matter how much dust or dirt was on your feet. And we were at this same basketball court another time, and Florian, who was on my team, he was able to talk to this kid, and this kid who was maybe like 8 or 9 just asked question after question, can you tell me more stories about Jesus? Like, I want to know more. And it got to the point where Florian had to start Googling them. He like had run out, and he was there for like an hour just talking about the love of Jesus and the things that Jesus did throughout his life. And this kid was just so invested and so interested in the name of Jesus. And we were able to give him the Jesus Storybook Bible before we left, and just hopefully that, he's just able to continue going deeper into that. After wrapping up our time in Luma and just feeling really connected to this community, honestly, Luma has my heart. It's just one of the most beautiful places, and I will be back there one day, Lord willing. We drove back to Broome, spent 3 days debriefing there as a team, and met up with the other team that were also in a different part of the Kimberley, and the team from the Northern Territory that came down part of our school as well. And just hearing the stories and everything that God did in our time away, honestly, blew me away. We went to a local footy game in Broome, and I have missed footy, bro. The amount of times, in the Kimberley, they're just insane. They're insanely athletic, and the kids just blew me away, absolutely dominated. So it was really cool going to Broome and just watching a game. We headed as a crew down from Broome down to Perth. We started the journey again, stopped in Port Hedland, did evangelism there, which we also did on the way up. And Port Hedland's pretty broken, and it was just really cool to be able to stop there and just have some Jesus conversations. I was able to pray for a girl who had just turned an ACL in netball. But we stopped in Karajini for a night on the way back down, and that was cold. It got really cold driving back down and sleeping in like hammocks just attached between like 4 drive to 4 drive. There was one night, and like our last night before we got back to Perth, and we had a fire going because it was so cold. Everyone just like literally did not sleep the whole night. We were like up sitting by the fire. I had brilliant sleep, so thanks Lord. But everyone else was just so cold. That basically wrapped up the outreach portion of staffing BTS. I hopefully will make a Papua New Guinea video at some point because I have crazy footage from that and would love to share it. But I'm hoping to look back at these videos one day, show my kids. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of a snippet of the last month and a bit that we had on outreach in the Kimberley. Thank you for your prayers. I seriously don't think the things that happened would have happened without them. And yeah, if you want to continue all the work that the Lord's doing and partnering with me and Jesus in that, I would love if you reach out, check my email in the description. There's some cool stuff happening. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. So does Jesus.